celebrating the power of possibility.
Hi, I'm Holli McCray, and I believe that anything is possible.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. These are great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. And this is Holli McCray.
Hi, Halloran.
When I met you, first of all, the Energizer Bunny has nothing on you. In fact, the Energizer Bunny probably owes you royalties because
There are days.
When I met you, what I loved was you were bubbling with possibility. Like, you just believe things can be done.
Things can be done.
But you are also a person of action. That's what I love about you. You'll go, well, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if we did this? And then before you know it, you're actually doing it.
Yes.
So I understand that you just went to Israel.
We did.
Tell me about it.
Halloran, if you've never been to Israel, you should go. You should go. You are as curious, if not more curious than me. I don't know who would win that Olympic sport between the two of us, but I felt like I had the spirit of a child for 2 weeks while I was there because it was so amazing to stand there and learn the things that are there. Now, I told you already that I'm a dork at heart, and I love history. Love history. I love old things. I love restoring old things. I love fixing old things. I love finding old things. You know, and in the States, when you renovate an old house, it's, 80 years old. You go to Israel and you look at an old house and it's 5,000 years old. You're like, whoa, this is, crazy. But we went with John Avant, who is president of Life Action.
Yeah.
So he put that trip together. They've asked us to go a few times, but we weren't in a position to with, a senior in high school. So we went, and I was nervous. I was nervous about a week out, and I'm like, are we, I tend to not think about things until they're about a week out because life is so busy. And I looked at John and I was like, are we going to the Middle East in a week? Did we sign up for this? We're really doing this? He said, yeah, we're really doing this. So we flew from Atlanta to Istanbul to Tel Aviv, and I was like everywhere because the culture is so different. And, to get there and to stand in these places that you've heard about your whole life, in Sunday school and church and the songs that you sang as a child, it is mind-boggling. It's completely surreal. And I will never see the world the same. Like, you thought I was on fire and wild prior to this trip. I mean, I have zero problems. This trip has just set me completely on fire. It is unbelievable to go walk the steps of Christ and go through the books of the Gospels, the Gospels and all of the stories that you've heard, and see those places and stand where Christ stood and put your feet where Christ put his feet, and put your hands on the prison walls where Christ had to put his hands, and be in the Disney world of what am I trying to say? Where you dig and there's things.
Archaeology.
Thank you, archaeology. To be in the Disney world of archaeology at Beit Shean and discover that there's an entire Roman city under the dirt where this town wanted to build a soccer field. When they dug, they hit rock and they started brushing away and realized they hit marble and started brushing and brushing and brushing, and there's an entire Roman city under there, Halloran. They've been brushing things away for years now, and there's an entire Roman city. I'm like, it was going to be a soccer field, but the columns and the Roman roads, and up on top of the hill was the Temple of David, where they hung Saul over the wall. And I'm like, I cannot be standing here. It's crazy.
What did it do for your faith?
I always had faith, But to see the stories come to life is completely, it's just, that's leveled up. That is next level stuff. I mean, to walk where Christ walked on the way to his crucifixion is second level. I mean, that's just mind-boggling. But you know, we had a really wonderful, wonderful, amazing tour guide, and he was a Christian. He grew up in Old City, Jerusalem, still lives there as an adult, but he's also a historian. So it was wonderful because he took us through the whole process, and he would say, these things are beliefs, haven't been proven. These things are beliefs that have. And this is the scientific proof of X and Y and Z. And this is how we know Pilate was a real person, because Pilate's name is on this piece of marble here in this city. And, you know, so we got the scientific facts, things that were carbon dated, the boat that they pulled out of the Sea of Galilee, again, in our lifetime, just like the soccer field story. They pulled out of the Sea of Galilee that carbon dated back to the time of Christ. And to be on the Sea of Galilee in a boat and say, okay, that is where Christ fed the 5,000. That is the Valley of the Doves. This right here at the primacy is where Christ walked on water to the boat and said, I will make you fishers of men. You can stand in one spot and see all these places. And you realize this is a very small spot in the world. I mean, Israel's the size of what, New Jersey? And it's still Israel. You know, that's powerful in itself.
And those stories revolutionized the world.
Yes, yes. And how that part of the world is where, you know, Europe and Asia and Africa, everything comes together, and how you just see it. Like, it just, everything you know, just, I don't want to say it becomes real, because you have faith enough to know that it's real, but you see that it was real. And that is mind-boggling. I don't even know how to, it just transforms you to sit in the Garden of Gethsemane and to see the tree that was there that Christ had to walk past because it was there when he was there, and see the rock that, you know, he prayed to the Lord about to, you know, take this from me the night before he was crucified. It's just, you see with your physical eyes all the things you believed were there. And it just transforms the way that you think. And you realize after all of this that what are you complaining about with your crazy, bougie, fabulous life? Like, shut up and go to work. You're fine. Everything is possible. You see what happened there, and you can't figure out how to take action here? Stop with it. Now, did Cade get to go on this trip with you? Cade did not get to go on this trip because he is in college and has to make good grades. So he did not get to go on this trip. But we did FaceTime him from several of the sites. We FaceTimed him from Masada. Don't even get me started. You know, King Herod, not the good guy of the Bible, but man, best builder in the history of the world.
The real estate person's like, wow.
His stuff is still there. We stood in every one of his palaces that we saw were still there. So, yeah, we got to FaceTime him. We FaceTime him from Petra, and we FaceTime him from Masada. And he's like, this is wild. I need to go. So, yeah, we hope to take him in the next couple of years. That maybe after he graduates, we'll get him over there.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
You know, fear is a liar, and I really wish more people really got that, really could stand on that. And that's hard, man. My heart is broken, I don't know how many dozens of times over people that did not believe in themselves more than I did. That just makes me nuts.
It sounds like when you went to Israel, you believed all of these things, but then you were able to verify and then certify.
Yeah, and
what
I hate to even say verify because you know it's there. So I don't want to act like I didn't believe it, but
it's another thing to put your hands
on it. Yeah.
And it just does something to you when you go, oh, so what I've believed, that's real, and the supreme sacrifice that was made,
Yes.
and you could transform the world from this little small region, and I got every advantage really at the tip of my fingers.
Yes.
Why wouldn't I be transformational with my life?
Yes.
Right?
I mean, those babies were rolling tires down the road for fun.
Right.
And Kate said, was there another kid in it? I'm like, no, honey, that's all they were doing was rolling tires. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we've got to have some talks.
One of the things you said to me early on, though, and this kind of harkens back to your mother, in the real estate business, you told me I love solving problems for people.
Oh, yeah.
People call me, hey, I got this situation, and you're like, cool, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's part of your purpose and your calling?
It has to be because it's so innate. Yeah, I do. I love solving problems. I love fixing things. It's kind of a disease, and it gets me in a lot of trouble. But I love renovating houses. It's why I flip houses. I love renovating them. And I, half the time, don't even want to sell them when I'm done. I don't, because they're my little masterpieces. I love looking at people and finding the potential in them. And this is the tricky one, right? You got to be careful with this one, because this one can break your heart. But I love seeing the potential in people and bringing that out. And I'll tell you, people aren't easy with that because, they're so, I know now, told you 40 years, I know now that people are so conditioned to withdraw and get defensive and put their walls up and not let the best in them shine because they're afraid of, I don't know what they're afraid of. They're afraid of being made fun of, or the cancel culture, or the criticism, or all the things. Yes, yeah, all the fears, all the lies. And fear is a liar, and I really wish more people really got that, really could stand on that. And that's hard, man. My heart is broken, I don't know how many dozens of times over people that did not believe in themselves more than I did. That just makes me nuts. I don't know how to fix that one. If I can fix that one, that's next level stuff.
I understand that you're in the top 1% of agents in the United States of America. Top 1%.
That's what I've been told.
Volume-wise, what have you guys done?
In my career, last year, 10 years ago?
Yeah, all of that.
All that. I don't even know. I mean, we've sold thousands and thousands of houses at this point. I don't even know. We should probably count them up at some point. We historically do over 100 million a year. When I first got into real estate, the highest volume anybody ever did was about 23 million, and that was Judy Starlipper. She paved the road in Knoxville real estate for all of us. And it makes me sad now because there's a whole generation of agents that have no idea who she even is. And I'm like, no, but you don't understand. She was wonderful. But I'm like, 24 million isn't going to cut it. So, we wanted to beat that. And the first year that we got to 24, we're like, this is awesome. And then, then it just went from there. Then I think we went from 24 to like 56 to 80 something and to 89 and then like 92 and then like 95. And then we hung there just under 100. We broke that 100 million. I was like, yes.
So you believe over a 10-year period, you hit $1 billion in?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And with these prices now, everybody's gonna do it.
No, but you're so matter of fact about it. That's what's so amazing about your faith is it's just math. It's just go do it. It's wonderful.
But how hard is? Really, should it be harder?
Maybe.
Why?
Maybe the hardest thing is just getting past your own
fear. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Get past your own fear. Get past your own I don't wanna. Working out for me is like my nemesis. I got to get out of my head and into myself and just like turn it off. And one of my biggest challenges is turning it off, because I'm always like, what's the next fix? What's the next thing? What's the next box I have to check? What's the, and so, in my own life, I try to apply that, and I struggle with that in certain areas because I don't like to turn my brain off. I don't enjoy that. I like to continue to think, and it is not a good thing. So, yeah, I don't think it needs to be. I mean, I realize how hard I make certain things, and it doesn't need to be that hard. So just make it happen. You have to understand, when I got into real estate, when we started this real estate team, I was broke. Like, no money.
What do you mean, broke?
When I hired you, your payments were going on credit cards, brother.
Now you're telling me this? Now you're telling me?
Oh, yeah, we were broke. Broke.
What do you mean broke?
That's
broke as in broke?
Broke as in we didn't have any money. No, we had, for instance, our HVAC unit desperately needed to be replaced. It was winter, it was cold, the heat would go out every day. And, that's not a very safe thing to do, There's a whole carbon monoxide thing going on there. And, in the middle of the night when the heat was off, I'd have to, elbow John and say, can you go push the button? And he'd put his shoes on and go out in the snow and push the button on the unit to get the heat to come back on. Because we had to make it last as long as we could, because we did not have the money to replace it. And it was not a fun time, but I will tell you, I firmly believe in my heart of hearts, I know exactly why that happened and what happened, because I did not want to start a real estate team. I liked working by myself, for myself, with myself, because I didn't have to be responsible for anybody. I didn't want the accountability of that. And I knew in my heart of hearts that was gonna happen, and that's what I was supposed to do. I didn't want to. So I fought that, and I fought that, and fought that. And here's what I've learned out of that, Halloran. When God tells you you're going to do something, you should probably just sign up for it. Don't take the scenic route. Just sign up for it. Because he was going to make it happen. And I said no, I said no, I said no, I said no. He made me very poor. I said, fine, I can see it. I'll do it.
You step into that and boom, abundance.
We stepped into that, and boom, abundance. Enter you and all the other people that God strategically placed around us, and the people that helped us, and the agents that came, and the company that we started, and the things that I learned at that company were invaluable. I mean, they really propelled our career. And I mean, just don't fight it. Just don't fight it. But once we got into it, I mean, you got to remember, this was 2009. Real estate wasn't happening. I have been living on real estate since 2002 with no problems. And in 2008, I was rolling along like there was no problem. And 2008 hit the big cities, and then it hit the small cities in 2009. And we were in the 2009 category, and we're broke. I had 2 closings the first half of 2009. You can go back in the MLS and look at it. 2 closings the first half of 2009. And guess what? John was unemployed. Remember, we had this conversation, right? So he wasn't making any money. I had 2 closings. We were living on savings. We had no money. It was terrible. It was awful. Hated it. But you know what? Didn't have to be that way. I fought it, and I conceded, because sometimes you have to be broken in order to grow. And that's what happened. I was broken. I didn't know what to do. I was at my wit's end. I mean, here's this little child. I'm like, if you ever think you can't do something for yourself, look at your children. If you ever have any doubt you can't do it for you, look at them, because I don't know what it is about kids, but we're certainly not going to let them down.
Right.
So went to work. The first half of 2009, I made no money. The second half of 2009, we made $100,000. And I'm like, holy cow. But it was $100,000 the hard way. Because in 2009, we were selling houses that cost less than cars. $20,000, $22,000. Don't you wish you had those back?
Dang.
30,000, 40,000. And, but I didn't care. We did not care. We got busy. We did open it. We did everything free that you could do. So it was a lot of shaking hands, kissing babies, meeting people, talking to people, and putting deals together that, I mean, these chairs probably cost more than a couple of houses that I sold. But it didn't matter. We just needed to go to work. And we sold about $11 million worth of real estate in the second half of 2009. And then it just, because I knew I could do it.
Because you knew you could do it. Because you believed
There's never
anything.
Right. I knew I could do it. I just didn't want to. So here we are, all these years later. What year is this? 2023? Are we in 23?
We're in 23.
I forgot what happened since COVID. Like, that just, what year is it? But yeah, here we are, and we're back. And I understand that, you know, officially the pandemic is over as of yesterday, and let's roll. It's time. It's time to get our lives back and to get our minds back and to get our minds right after all of that. And yeah, I don't see it stopping or slowing down anytime soon. I mean, now it's just for fun. It used to be for money and for babies, but now it's for fun.
And you're having fun.
Yeah, we are having a lot of fun. We've
Holli
done a lot of fun
McCray,
things.
I want you to know I love you and thank you for being proof positive that anything is possible.
Loved being here today. Thank you.